We'll get started here in a few minutes. Morning, everyone. Morning, good morning, good morning. What's up, everyone? You guys had a great weekend? Feeling way better, man. Feeling way, way better. Dude, Bal was like, did you have the hantavirus? I was like, I don't think so, bro. He's like, all right, good, because there's a 50% mortality rate. I was like, oh, shit. Nah, but I'm feeling better, bro. I can't believe it. This is like, either I have a really good immune system, or I don't know what the hell happened, man. And then my wife last night, she's like, I think I'm starting to feel sick. I was like, oh, shit. So we'll get started here in a few minutes, guys. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Morning, everyone. Morning, morning, morning. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Back trading now. Feeling better. We're going to start here in a few minutes.
Hey, good morning.
Morning, Steve. How are you, bro?
Hey, pretty good. How are you?
Good. How was your weekend?
Good. Oh, pretty good. We we did like dinner and then we watched Michael on Friday, which was pretty good, we thought.
Oh, awesome. I
That's
gotta
about
check
it.
it out.
Sorry, what was that?
I gotta check it out.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, it kind of focused on old school Michael. I think they're going to do a part two. You know what I mean? So for me, that's what was good.
Right.
So it was fun. The music and yeah, all the history. It was cool.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, it sounds kind of crazy, but I'm a pretty big Michael Jackson fan.
Right.
He's before my time,
Yeah, man.
but I really,
Yeah.
really admire how fucking beast he was. He was the biggest thing
Yeah, it's
back then.
pretty right. And it's pretty insane because, I grew up in the 80s. So I remember I was really young, but I remember like seeing on the street corners, like cardboard boxes, and they'd have the boom box with Michael Jackson and they'd be dancing. It was like, I mean, it's so hard to compare to like any artist we have nowadays because he really did like create, a movement, a genre of music. And that the 80s were really about Michael, in my opinion. So it was pretty cool watching it, kind of reliving all that stuff.
Yeah, and back then, no social media, bro.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, so I thought it was fun.
I feel like you and I have some pretty similar movie tastes, so if you like it, I probably like it.
Yeah, we do. And I still want to check out Devil Wears Prada too, because you said that one was good.
Yeah. Gotta watch the first one, though.
Right. Well, Martin says he was at Michael's concert in Poland 1996. That must have been amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty sick.
Yeah.
We have another minute, and then we'll get started here.
Cool. Did you do anything fun this weekend?
Did I do anything fun? I was pretty much recovering for most of the weekend. We went out last night for Mother's Day.
Nice.
Yeah, nothing in particular.
Cool.
All right, guys, let's get started here. So, morning, everyone. Welcome back to live trading. If this is your first time on live trading, welcome. As you guys know, we are streaming the first 30 minutes of live trading on YouTube, pretty much where we make the game plan, talk about the process, and then at 9:29 we cut off the live stream and reserve that for MIC members. So, where do we begin? First things first is, the memory names have just been going insane. You get things like Micron that are up. I mean, this is just insane. Micron, Intel. The Trump administration's up $50 billion on Intel. AMD is insane. SanDisk is insane. And, the biggest thing that you have to remember is that not all stocks can go up forever, and not all stocks can go down forever. What does that mean? Basically what that means is like for things to go up, usually you want to see it come back down, consolidate, build a base, and then go up higher, right? You don't want to just keep seeing things that go straight up, because the more that they go straight up, the higher probability that they're going to go straight down, and that's not healthy for the market. You have all these like different ETFs, whether it be the SMH, which is a semiconductor ETF. I mean, pretty damn strong. You have, what was the other one? I forget, different ETF, but all these things are just kind of going crazy with no real pullbacks. And the reality is that as bullish as these things are, as strong as everything is, even a stock like Nvidia had to come back down and consolidate, right? You can see Nvidia had a major run from $40 all the way up to $140, came back down before making its next move higher. A lot of these stocks have not really been coming down at all. They've been just going straight up, and straight up is unhealthy price action. So I do believe that maybe sometime this week that we're probably going to get like a 15% pullback in a lot of these names, 10 to 15% pullback. The question is when and where. It's the same thing that we always say is like these are up in the nosebleeds right now, man. So if you missed Micron at 350, 450, 550, 650, 750, I think it's a good idea to start buying at 780. It's very, very similar to what happened on CAR, man. You know, everyone's like, this thing is going to go up forever. This thing is going to hit $1,000. This is going to go to $2,000. This is going to be the next GameStop. And usually you see how the pattern unfolds. You know, this is looking pretty close to similar. I mean, cars obviously some BS company, and Micron and SanDisk are not. But you can see that not everything goes up forever, right? They need to come back down. They need to consolidate. Doesn't mean that I think Micron's going to go to $200. But why can't it go to 500 and 600, consolidate for a month, and then go back higher? You know, so that's the biggest thing, is that I don't want to be a long bias participant in these memory names. You know, I don't want to be a market participant on these memory names at these levels of highs. I would rather wait. So that's just number one thing to kind of keep in mind, is like, look, everyone said it on silver. They said silver is going to keep going up forever because all the AI companies, they need silver. What happened on silver? Silver went parabolic, came back down, never went back to that height. What happened on gold? Gold is going to change the world again. It's a new paradigm. The dollar is fucking busted. Gold went parabolic. It came back down. What happened on oil? Oil. Oh my God, the war is going to be crazy. What are we going to do? Oil prices are going to spike to $200 a barrel. We went parabolic this day. We came back down. Oil is a little bit different because more geopolitical type thing. Same thing with car. What's going to happen on car? Car is going to go to $2,000 a share. Because of the war in Iran, people are renting more cars or whatever fucking nonsense that they were saying, came back down. So the reality is that a lot of these moves, they need to come back down. They need to consolidate. I mean, even look at someone like Dell. I mean, Dell, pretty insane. Everything is insane. Everything has just been insane. So a lot of these stocks have been leading the overall market higher. I mean, if you look at the NASDAQ, this is not healthy price action, dude. This is not healthy price action. Look at the NASDAQ, bro. Straight up. You really want to be buying the NASDAQ when it's from 560 to 710? You know, you really want to be buying up here, or you want to be waiting for it to come back down, waiting for it to consolidate, and then buying, right? So that's the biggest problem that people have, is they see the NASDAQ up this much and like, oh my God, I got to buy because, you know, I missed out. What's going to end up happening is you're going to go all in. Oh, we have CPI tomorrow. That's going to be interesting. What's going to happen is you're going to go all in at the wrong area and then kind of regret it. So you never want to be buying up in the nosebleeds, right? It's, again, I say the same quote a gazillion times because I really feel like it matters so much. Is from Warren Buffett, be greedy when others are fearful and fearful when others are greedy. So ask yourself, are market participants being extremely fearful right now? Or are market participants being extremely greedy? If you cannot answer that question, I mean, dude, that's question number one. In my opinion, this is not fear. This is greed. A month ago, we were at the fear levels. A month ago, when everyone was panicking, you know, that was the opportunity to buy. So while everyone's kind of being extremely greedy right now, that is not the opportunity to buy, you know? So just keep that in mind. Is always ask yourself, you know, are traders being greedy or are they being fearful? And that'll help you determine the direction of these trades to take. You know, long term, I am obviously bullish. You know, as you guys know, our diamond program is kicking ass and taking names. You know, we're up nearly 30% on a lot of our positions. So that's really good, outperforming the market. So long term, I am bullish. But after seeing price action like this, it makes me very fearful. Because what's going to end up happening is, you know, the same way these things kind of melt up and melt up and melt up, when the reversal happens, which it will happen, right? It will happen. It's going to be a meltdown and meltdown and meltdown. So that's not healthy price action. That's not good for my investments either. So I'm just hoping that things kind of come back down, they settle in a little bit, they take a breather, go sideways for a couple weeks, and then they can pick their direction. But just straight up is not good. And if you're trying to invest in this market at these levels, I mean, you're doing something wrong, right? You're doing something wrong. So with that being said, let's get into building the watch list. So the way that we build the watch list is we always go to the previous day's watch list and we build from there. The reason why we go to the previous day's watch list is we want to make sure that we don't miss anything that is in play. So let's get started. Okay. So CTNT. So CTNT, not really much volume, not really much range. So probably gonna ignore that. Nothing really there. One second, let me take a sip of my coffee real quick. ATRA, same thing, not really much volume. PMAX, nothing there. TRAW, you know, kind of flatline. So nothing really from the stocks that were moving, you know, last week. Let's kind of move to what's moving today. So today we got CLIK. CLIK pop and drop. Ideally we get a bounce towards, you know, $4, 420. So let me actually just draw my lines a little bit. So you can see it's kind of like 390 area is 430 and then 470. So CLIK broken stock, looking to short a bounce toward 390, 430, and 470 to scale in. Next is ODYS, potential hot stock runner of the day, easy to borrow, ignoring short. Potential hot stock runner of the day, easy to borrow, ignoring short. Also, there was a crazy one today, ENSC. So this ENSC is not a misprint. It went from 30 cents to $25 and then back to 30 cents. Pretty insane move. Usually what ends up happening on these types of moves is someone has like some sort of algo and the algo goes short, you know, 30 cents, 40 cents, 50 cents. And what ends up happening is if they're wrong, there's no liquidity to get out, and boom, these things just kind of shoot up, you know? So obviously this is an ignore. ENSC, ignore. Let's see kind of what else is moving today. You know, we went through ODYS real quick. Let's see, EasyGO. Let's see, MRAM, GAMB. GAMB kind of holding up for now, still too strong, so nothing there. JZXN, yeah, I mean, dollar stock. Anything else moving, guys? I swear there was a couple other tickers moving. Maybe I missed it. Let me just scroll back through the chat. XGN. Let me just double check the float on this. XGN. Yeah, 12 million. Maybe needs a little bit higher. RXT. RXT has been like a multi-day runner. Remember that we said the other day that this RXT has news with AMD. So it's very, very pumpable type of news. So I'll probably ignore that for now. I guess I could probably talk about the semis. So Intel, AMD, Micron, SanDisk. Intel, AMD, Micron, SanDisk. I would say Micron is the head of the snake. So looking for Micron to go red and then short the others. Very similar to CAR. This, yeah, SMH was the other one I was thinking about. Thank you. Very similar to CAR. This will break after it breaks below previous day's lows. That is the signal. So real quick, on CAR. Remember on CAR, the biggest thing here was a break of the previous day's lows. This entire run, man, this entire run of CAR, you see it never really broke under the previous day's lows until this day. It broke under the previous day's lows, right, of 568 and never came back. So on something like, I don't know, SanDisk and Micron is, you can see that throughout this entire run, really, Micron never really broke below the previous day's low. It was pretty close to breaking it here, but until this breaks under the previous day's low, the top is not going to be in, right? You could say the same thing for this SMH. So ideally, we need to see these things break under the previous day's low, and that is going to be the signal, right? That is going to be the signal. So keep that in mind, guys. That's the most important thing here. So that's kind of the watch list I got. Main focus is going to be CLYK, ODYS, and then ideally if these other type of large cap semiconductor type of names end up going red, which doesn't really seem like it, they're all fucking gapping up like crazy, you know, I'll start to focus on that. But that's kind of what I'm thinking today is, yeah. So with that being said, I'm going to pass the baton over to Steve and we'll take it from there. As you guys see, this ODYS is kind of trapping. You know, not really that interested in trading that. And yeah, so for those of you that are just joining us on YouTube, every single day I go live at 9 a.m. and at 9:29 a.m., right before the market opens, that is going to be where I cut off the live stream and only stream for MIC members. So if anyone has any questions on joining, you know, they could just email Steven, rh1@myinvestingclub.com. But with that being said, I'll pass the baton over to Steve here so he can get started with his segment, and then we'll get started live trading here in the next 10 minutes. So yeah, main watch is going to be the CLIK on a short for a bounce. ODYS probably going to take money flow, so I'm going to take that off my screen. You know, SMH, you know, there's a semiconductor ETF. So if we see this semiconductor ETF going red, I can start to look around at other names. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. So without further ado, Steve, I'll pass the baton over to you, and we'll get started live trading here in the next 10 minutes.
Cool. Sounds good. Yeah, if anything exciting happens in the stocks, feel free to just chime in and cut me off.
Yep.
So I want to go over this again. You know, I want to talk about adding your winners and cutting your losers. I think that this is probably the main question I get by DM. I've got some new examples and some kind of new lessons, and I've created a graphic. I'll post it here. Feel free to review with the graphic if you're. It's a little more fun than probably listening to me read or talk. The graphics got it all. I've got my examples there, and I'll post examples too so we could see a little bit closer after I go over these key points. And as always, if you guys have anything to add on this, any questions, feel free to chime in now or when you have them. That way, if we have a couple minutes at the end, I could kind of go through them real quick. So one of the biggest mistakes, obviously, like I just mentioned, that I see from new or struggling traders, and even traders who are consistently profitable, but they're looking to do a little bit better, gain a little bit more edge. This is a really big one. So the main problem I see from newer or struggling traders is obviously adding size to the losers and taking profits too quick on winners. You know, when I was newer, several years ago, I would notice after looking at my monthly recaps of all my charts, I still kind of save all my charts and every month I go over them all. What I would notice is my losers, you know, if you had like a timer on me, I'd be in the losers for like 30 minutes, 1 hour, an hour and a half. And then my winners, you know, they were like, you know, 5-10 minute trades, right? So my losers were like this epic battle, right? All these entries and cuts and entries and trying to fight it and waiting for the top. And in the end, what ended up happening? 3 things usually: break even-ish, manageable loser, or really big loser, right? I never had like great, really big winners after fighting a trade, after a really tough trade, after adding to a loser. None of that, you know, the trade never went really great after that, right? So what I started realizing is, you know, this psychology of what's happening here should be reversed, right? When we're in a winner, that's when we should be adding, right? That's when we should be, you know, going to battle with the stock. You know, it's weak, it's down. That's when we've got the advantage. When it's like at the peak, it's, you know, got all the money flow, all the attention. It's at all-time highs. It's, you know, trapping shorts and, you know, assuming you're a short. So the psychology is usually wrong. And when I see a lot of traders that send me charts and want help with whatever their issues may be, I see this issue a lot is losers have a lot of cuts and there's a lot of revenge trading and a lot of fighting. And really, we should be doing the opposite, right? We should be cutting the losers quick, waiting or avoiding. We should be adding in and letting the winners work for us, right? So in MIC, we want to build into our positions only after the trade confirms and starts moving in our favor. That's the key here, right? For the basics, every trade should begin with a complete plan, right? So we talk about this almost daily. We need your, entry area, your risk amount, your hard market stops, your profit cover targets. All that stuff should be pre-planned. We've got an entire channel to help you guys do that. It's called the Discipline Workshop. All you need to do is get active in there. Phil and Yuchi have a really awesome week-long Discipline Workshop one-on-one mentoring group where they will help you and tab with you for the week. They will help you review your trades, your executions. They'll share their trades. So it's really a great way to get involved in the Discipline Workshop. But the Discipline Workshop is really crucial and essential, right? So MIC's 30% rule. This is the rule that changes lives. This rule basically says we are never more than 30% sized into a trade unless the trade confirms. So what does 30% size mean? That means whatever your max size is, that's something personal to you, right? If you're new, not yet consistent or struggling, your max size should be really small, right? Your max share size. It should be 100, 200 shares tops. Let's just say for the sake of argument, you're brand new and it's 100 shares, that's your max size. That means that when you're in a trade, if the trade has not confirmed, you never have more than 30 shares on that trade, right? That's 30%, right? So this is how we keep the loser small, because if the trade didn't confirm, if the trade's going in the wrong direction, we can get stopped out, we can cut it, whatever, but we had small size on, right? Now, if the trade confirms, if it moves in your direction, and key is, if you're a short bias trader, if it's under VWAP, that's confirmation. If you're a long bias trader, if it's above VWAP, that's confirmation. But when those things happen, you could consider adding more size. For a general rule of thumb, if you're not sure what's going on, let's say you're short bias, let's say you're in a trade and your P&L is green. Okay, that means the trade's moving in your favor, right? First step. Second, we break under VWAP. That's further confirmation. Now you have the green light to add more than 30% size if the trade allows for it, right? Until those things happened, you are never more than 30% sized, and this is probably the main mistake that's very fixable that I see from newer struggling traders. So here's the key. When you're adding size, we want to be avoiding adding more risk. So we don't want to just get to like, let's say 70, 80% of our max size or 100% and keep the same stop level. We want to be managing that by moving our stop level down, right? That way, if something really crazy happens, the stock reclaims and traps, we don't end up risking 100% of our size, right? We ended up lowering our stop. So the idea here is we are getting our winners maximized, but if anything goes wrong on the trade, we've got that confirmation level, then we've got the lowered max stop. So we're able to keep the loser smaller, right? So we do this by lowering our stop level as the trade works. As the stock confirms weakness when short, your stop should tighten, right? This allows you to increase your share size while keeping your risk amount the same or even lowering it. Okay, hope that makes sense to you guys. Some other key notes. If you're consistently getting stopped out only to watch your trade idea work afterwards, that generally means your stops are too tight, right? Your stops are placed at the wrong level, they're too tight, whatever the case is, but we only want to be stopped out when our trade thesis is invalid. Sometimes it happens where we get stopped and the trade idea ends up working. That's fine, but it shouldn't be on a daily, it shouldn't be a daily occurrence. It should be once in a while, right? So if that does happen to you, or if it's happening often, consider sizing down, picking better entry lines. Obviously, you need to move your stop higher, and you could do that easily by using smaller size or entering a little closer to your lines or picking better lines. Your stop should be placed, as I mentioned, as a point where if your trade idea is no longer valid, it's invalidated by a trade idea is no longer valid, not at a random dollar amount. If you're short, that means it could be confirmation for me, could be a previous top, a death candle, key resistance area, and I always have some wiggle room, right? Like if a previous top was 310 and I want to use that to risk, I'll usually put my stop, 10 cents above that or something like that. I wouldn't put it right at 310 or 311. So again, tight stops that get hit often usually means you're oversized, right? So some golden rules: let the trade confirm first before you get any real size. And 30% is a guide, but to be honest with you guys, a lot of times I'm only in 10 or 20%, until the trade confirms. It doesn't mean you have to put on your max 30% size, right? It just means that we're never more than 30% unless it confirms, right? If your trade idea isn't working, cut it instead of adding. We want our losers small with less size, and we want our winners bigger with more size. Less is often more. And I want to post a couple recent trade examples. Obviously, these are cherry picked exactly for what we're talking about here. Not all trades are this clean, but these ones worked out really well. So let's go over these and highlight what I'm talking about. So MU from last week, this is a recent one. So you could see when the market opened, I went short, right? This was in the live trades. A lot of you guys remember this. So I went short. I said that I was going to use VWAP as my guide, right? This thing ended up on the smaller time frame. You could kind of see it, but we ended up breaking to a higher high, right? I cut it right above VWAP. I didn't want to get involved above VWAP. I didn't want to deal with it. This thing was a tough ticker every day. So what did I do? I waited till we got below VWAP again. When we got below VWAP again, I identified that 659.41 area as key support. Once we broke it, I was able to add more size. So this is a good example of exactly what I'm talking about. The next one, IKT, entries, once 240 broke, adds, the stop moved down to about 250. Then I was now managing my overall size better by lowering my risk, and then I covered out. So these are really clean, simple examples. Hopefully that makes sense. Feel free to DM me if you guys have any other questions. Thanks, guys.
Pretty good timing there, Steve. Got 4 seconds until the market opens.
Trying to get it done before the open.
So usually this is where we would cut off the live stream on YouTube, but I'll give it one more day. So today will be the last day that I continue the stream running. So if you're watching on YouTube, enjoy. Maybe Steve, you could post your contact info. But yeah, let's see. The market's open here. Waiting for things to set up. Waiting for things to trade. Let's see. So CLIK is my top watch. Hopefully we get a nice bounce to short. SMH is a semiconductor ETF. So we're just watching to see if that eventually goes red and could watch to short some of these semis. ODYS, obviously no interest there. Easy to borrow. We do this live trading every single day, guys. Don't remember the exact numbers. I think so far this year, just on the live trading streams, everyone's seen me make close to $600,000 live. So ODYS halting up. Great. Ignore for now. So I always say that stock selection is super, super key. And more often than not, I know what stocks to avoid and what stocks to trade. So I definitely like to avoid a lot of stocks I'm not really comfortable with. Big move on NVIDIA so far. Semiconductor ETF just going straight up still. Remember, guys, there's 2 things we need to see. We need to see the semiconductor ETF go red and a break under the previous day's low of the day. That is your signal. So until it breaks under the previous day's low of the days, you cannot be mega bearish. So ODYS is halting up. So like I said, guys, just because that thing is moving does not mean that it's a trade for me. I'm very particular and very specific with the things that I trade. And, if CLIK doesn't end up bouncing, I'm not going to just try to trade ODYS, You know, when you have stocks like this Micron, I mean, dude, you don't want to be buying at 800 bucks on a $50 gap up. I mean, this is just like, it's not like, you don't want to be a buyer into these moves. Yeah, can they go higher? Potentially. But that's just building really bad habits, man. Like, look at this shit. So just in a waiting mode. Again,
The overall market supply just went green.
yeah. This is the thing about professional trading, guys. Professional trading doesn't mean that you have to place a trade every single second of every single day. Professional trading is about picking your spots and waiting. Waiting for the optimal opportunities and the optimal setups. So we will see. Micron is the strongest one for now, up 9%. I mean, look at this SMH, dude. I mean, just bananas.
Straight up, yeah. Insane.
So just waiting for hopefully CLIK to bounce a little bit. Am I familiar with Eduardo? Yeah, Eduardo's great. Great guy. Very, very passionate guy. CLIK still waiting. Message from Cobra about ENSC. Looks like they're busting all the trades, meaning that if you traded ENSC between 547 and 548 and above 58 cents, those trades are no longer valid. So here's the fail. Saying this just went red. I mean, it might be worth it to hit some Micron. I'm going to try it. Short a little bit Micron here on SanDisk going red. So short a little bit of Micron here based on this SanDisk going red. I'm going to pull up this SanDisk as well. I'll put SMH on a different screen. Sand is going red, man. Look at this. Micron, let's see if we can break the low of the day. If we break low of the day on Micron, I'll add. But again, I do not want to size up until the previous day's low breaks. You know, so all this stuff is just starter size. It's all just starter size. What do you YS halt down? So, thought process is stick to just a starter for now. If we break low of the day, I could add. And previous day's low is kind of where I'm going to be more interested, but just keep it as small for now. Again, these stocks have like $50, $60 worth of range, man. You know, $50, $60 is a pretty large range. Look at that. Oh, shit. Good fail. Micron fail. SanDisk fail. Okay. Until we break the low of the day, though, on Micron, I'm not going to add. So finger on the trigger for a low of the day break. Getting a little bit of lag here. SMH is still green. SOXL green. Okay.
I mean, yeah, nice fail so far.
Look at that low day break. Added a little bit of Micron here to the winner. Again, still using very, very small controlled size. Even though I'm up, you know, $10 a share, whatever it may be, I don't really care about that. All I care about is the right price action. So you see there's support in SanDisk in this 1530s-ish area. Again, you have to expect that these things are not just going to go straight down. They have $50, $60 worth of range, man. So for them to move 5 to 10 bucks is normal. For them to move 20 bucks is normal. Hell, even moving fucking 30 bucks is normal. You know, it's wide range. So less size is the only way to protect yourself. That's why I'm using small size. Nvidia pretty strong. Nvidia's breaking out, dude.
Yeah, Nvidia doesn't care.
We bought Nvidia at 169 in our Diamond membership. Pretty insane. So fail right now. Again, I am holding off on adding until I get more confirmations. Overall market is green. Anyone else's platform kind of lagging today, or is it just me?
That seems okay.
Yeah, maybe it's me.
And Nvidia higher.
Nice fail, Micron. Good fail on Micron, man. See if it continues. He needs to kind of see the low of the day is this 781. It needs to stay under 780. It needs to stay under 780.
The small cap, some money flow in TRAW. It's above Friday's highs.
So notice, guys, I'm not just blindly adding. I'm not just doing anything like that. I'm just waiting for more confirmation. I still don't trust it. I still don't trust it. So far, 2 attempts at that 780's key level. You see here, guys, very clear as day. So unless this 780 area breaks, I do not want to add heavily. I don't want to be too aggressive. I want to just wait. You know, I still only have pretty much a starter size. So you can see they're bouncing. So once again, I'm not trying to add to the loser. I don't want to just get in too big. I want to just wait. I want to wait. It may not fail today. And in the scenario that it doesn't fail today, at least I'm using small size until I get my confirmation. You know? This is a $50 gap up. So a break of the previous day's lows would be $676. It's almost $100 away. But, you know, we saw what CAR did when it broke the previous day's lows, right? CAR is the perfect example. When it broke the previous day's lows, it crashed like 50, 60%. Now, this thing is not going to crash 50, 60%, but it could do 20%. Why not? But until then, guys, I'm very, very small, very, very partial size. Click, doing really nothing. So I would say your key area right now is 780. Yeah, markets are insane. SPY's still up. That's crazy, bro.
Yep, SPY's pushing.
Look, I love this action as a long-term investor, but this is not healthy moves, bro. Just going straight up every day is not healthy.
Actually, yeah, looks like all-time highs, SPY.
Another fail on Micron. Again, I am partial small size. Until 780 breaks. Other names in this category are, you know, the SanDisk, the WDC, Intel, AMD. ODYS open. So again, guys, I don't want to be buying up in the nosebleeds here, right? You know, if it does go higher from here, great. You know, God bless. But I'm not going to buy a stock that's gapping up $60 a share that's already ran 100% in a month. You know? These are where the... I mean, I don't want to jinx it, but, you know, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything. Very small and very controlled for now. NVIDIA 220 almost. God bless America,
Yep.
bro. Wow. That's just insane, bro. How can you not be an investor, bro? How the hell are you not putting your money to work? Micron low of the days. Still need that 780 break, man. Until 780, can't trust it. And even if it breaks 780, it has to stay under 780. It can't just break and then come back, you know? It has to stay below. Looking around.
Yeah, it seems like money flow in small caps, XGN and TRAW. Mainly TRAW.
Video
Large caps,
220.
yeah. SPY, NVIDIA.
Unbelievable, bro. So sick.
NVIDIA, man. 220, 221.
ODYS pulping down. So 780, same thing as always. SanDisk, lows. So just sticking to what I got for now as I wait.
Yep, ODYS halted again.
So just waiting. You can see 780, so resilient, man. So retesting 780 here. There we go, break. But again, it's not enough to just break. It has to stay below. Stay below. You know? There we go. $5 a share right there. Next support is 770s. Sorry, 774. I'm fucking shocked today, bro. So far, so good. SanDisk helping as well.
Yep, SanDisk at support.
Intel, we need that to go down as well. I mean, the problem is NVIDIA, I think, bro. NVIDIA is just so damn strong. SanDisk, you can see that there's some support at SanDisk in the 1530s. So we would need to break a 1530. Micron's still weak. Come on down. ODYS, with the halt down and break of support, would you short on a bounce now? Potentially. Yeah, I'd have to see how the bounce reacts. SMH is still fucking green, bro. Probably being held by NVIDIA. AMD's almost red. So we're retesting that 780 support, which should act as resistance. So that's why I said it's not just enough that it has to break 780. It has to break 780 and start to act as resistance there. You know what I'm saying? AMD, red. Quantum names are on my do not trade list, bro. Holy fuck. Wow,
Right.
IONQ, sheesh. Yeah, quantum names are on my do not trade list, bro. I had like PTSD on those. Okay, see, look at exactly what happened here. We retested 780, previous support acting as resistance, and we failed. Let's get a breakthrough low of the day to confirm it. So notice, guys, we need these things to line up together. Let's get that low of the day break.
Yeah, NVIDIA, small fail so far.
SMH is still green, bro. The fact that SMH is still green, SOXL, is that still green? SOXL, still green. All these things are still fucking green, bro. It means there's plenty of room for downside. The same way that we were looking for a low of the day break on SanDisk and Micron, we're looking for that same low of the day break on SMH. If SMH breaks that low of the day, that's going to be another confirmation signal. So hopefully this shit is making sense, guys. So this is the type of trading that we do every day. We trade small caps, large caps, anything that has an opportunity, man, except Forex hedge pairs. We're trading. Separate screen watching SMH for that low of the day 569.5 break. AMD red. Micron. Come on down.
NVIDIA, nice fail.
Come on down. There we go. SMH break under low of the day. Micron trying to break. If we don't break down a little bit here, I'll take some profits off, build a P&L cushion, and then reshort the bounces. So we'll see here. So far, I don't know. I'll trim some. So I trimmed a little bit Micron here into the dip to lock in a little bit of a realized P&L cushion to then short more on the bounce. Why did I do that? I did that because SMH broke through the low of the day and kind of held. So I was looking at SMH and I saw it break the low of the day and kind of reclaim. So that's going to give me at least a little bit of a signal to reshort this bounce. Hopefully. So we'll see how we do. And if SMH re-breaks that low of the day and goes back down, I have no problem getting back in. But I just covered a small piece. It's looking pretty weak, dude. Okay, let's stick to what we got then. Let's stick to the other piece. It's looking pretty weak. New low of the day. Still need that SMH under low of the day to hold. NVIDIA coming back down to VWAP. That's probably helping. Intel, TRAW, big fail. Micron, low of the days. SMH, low of the days. AMD, low of the days. I mean, if you have not taken some covers off into these dips, man, you gotta at least take some off. So we're kind of holding this 770s area for now. Watching to see how this SMH reacts. SMH lows. I'm not sure why SanDisk is still holding up. SanDisk should be a lot lower in my opinion. Should be a lot lower. This needs to break that 1530 like we said. SMH
NVIDIA, nice fail.
heavier. Boom, look at SMH. Wow, look. Look at that break of low of the day, dude, on SMH. About to go red. I mean, I really should be adding more micron here, dude. I really should be, but I gotta stick to my plan and take it small for now. NVIDIA, it'd be nice if it goes back red. Qualcomm, QCOM, low of the day. A lot of these are at low of the day, man. A lot of these are at low of the day. There we go. Come on, a little bit more. So you can see they're still holding these 770s, man. So I think I'm just going to get out on this next dip here. Cash out and wait. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah, see that bounce? Almost a $10 bounce on air. So this is kind of telling me that the easy money might be over on it. So I'm going to look to reduce into the dip. And if it goes lower without me, no problem. We'll wait and see. Notice, guys, I'm not wishing my will upon the stocks. So just looking for a dip to get out. Good thing I didn't get emotional and add at the lows. I prevented myself from doing that, which is good. But you can see now we're bouncing. So that 770 has been holding pretty damn strong. So next dip, I'll probably just cash it out. Even AMD bounced $7 a share. Unbelievable. The range is just
NVIDIA
so
bouncing.
bananas.
SanDisk bouncing.
So you can see now everything's bouncing. Look at SMH. SMH, that moves like that are not healthy, bro. Look at that. Breaks down and comes back on air. So just waiting now. Give me a dip, and then I'll cash out. I'll probably just move on as I wait for other setups. If this bounces to like this VWAP area, I don't mind adding some back. I'm mostly just looking for a dip, as the easy money might be over on it. And real quick, guys, if you want to see more live trading, if you want to be part of the stream every day, just email us at stevenrh1@myinvestingclub.com. Today is the last day that I'm going to go straight up live after 9:30. I'm going to cut off the stream on YouTube at 9:29. So I'll be streaming every day on YouTube from 9 to 9:29. And then at 9:30, we'll stream for MIC members. Got out here on this dip. So all out of micron here. cashing out for now. So I'm cashed out for now as I wait. So hopefully this makes sense, guys. Not wishing my will upon the stock, recognizing that I should be using small size due to the large range, understanding that size will only come if a break of previous day's lows, which obviously is very, very far away for now. So good exit into that dip, 774.58. So very nice dip exit. Very, very nice exit. I really wish the CLIK would have bounced today. That would have been nice. I took my easy money trade, waited for the confirmation. That's it. So real quick, guys, the broker that I use is Cobra Trading. It is the same broker that I use, same broker that everyone in MIC uses. So if you guys want more info on Cobra, information's here. We're going to be picking the winners for our New York Stock Exchange event, hopefully sometime this week. So you still got time to open up your Cobra account and fund it, and you will automatically get $30,000 in free commissions. You will get 60 days free platform, 60 days additional live trading access if you're an MIC member. And we're going to pick 3 people to come to the New York Stock Exchange with me and have a private steak lunch. So really good exits on Micron. Traded it really, really well. Not overstaying my welcome. Not getting trapped. And that's it. So that's probably going to be it for me, guys. I'm going to call it a day here. Wrapping up. Will the winner of the New York Stock Exchange get an email? Yeah, for sure. So wrapping up here. $4,000 day. So $4,000 day today. No stress, no headache. So that's it. So this is what we do daily here, guys. You know, some days are easier than others. Some days are tough. But every day we're going to show up and we're going to put in the work. So, yeah. That's all I got.
Cool. Great trading.
Thanks, brother. So that's going to be it, guys. I'm going to call it a day here. I'm going to end the live trading stream here. Reach out if you guys have any questions, and we'll be back at it again first thing at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. That's it.
Yep. See you guys.
Later, guys.